Hi everyone, I'm super excited to host Rada Daleva. She's project lead at Studio Team Fu. First of all, thanks a lot for being on my show.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. I'm looking forward to the call today as well.
Yeah, so, Rada, can you walk us through your architectural bachelor days? How did you took that path and what you are today? Like, what are the things you did along the way?
Yes, sure. So I started studying bachelor's in architecture. I did it at Oxford Brookes. And since then, I was sort of interested always in understanding new technologies and trying to push further in terms of what I can use in my projects, learn new softwares, etc. I had to stay in between the technical and creative side. After that, I worked 1 year in Region Partners, where I was working on the Formula One headquarters for Aston Martin in Silverstone. I was doing the technical package for them. And I was also working on British Vote Master Plan, my time there. So more sort of focused work on technical drawings and details. And then I pursued my master's at Westminster University. I was there at DS10 with Arthur Mamamani and Toby, which was a great unit. I really had the opportunity there to start exploring AI a lot more because we had it integrated within our module. And actually, the brief of the 2 years that I was there with the tutors, we were working with AI. So that gave me sort of the path to follow. I had started using AI in Midjourney just the summer before I started my master's. And it was sort of a natural progression for me to take that path. And in between that architectural journey, I have also done a few entrepreneurial things on the side. I've always sort of tried to innovate and to see in what ways I can build different businesses that I'm interested in. So I've sort of started exploring different paths, and I think I've currently found the right path for me that matches my skill set and direction that I want to follow in the future.
That's an incredible journey. What has been your proudest moment till date?
I think there's two proudest moments that stand out. One is the fact that I was the project lead for our latest project, Lake Bled, which was a huge milestone and really important project globally. One of the first to that extent, having integrated AI throughout the whole design process. And another milestone of my side, which is an older one, is when I got the scholarship to come and study in the UK from Bulgaria. So I was one of 5 people from Bulgaria that was given this opportunity to come and study in the UK. And that has really shaped the way I am, right? Giving me this opportunity to come at a young age on my own and really pursue my career and my dreams. So yeah, I think these are the two moments so far that stand out.
Who would be the mentors you'd like to give a shout out?
I think Arthur and Toby are definitely mentors that I would love to give a shout out. They were very supportive because at the time when I was at the studio, I was pursuing also my entrepreneurial work on the side. I started working at Studio Timfu as well on the side. So, and they were really supportive of me doing these things alongside university. So, and of course, being able to explore AI as part of my university degree was really unique opportunity as well, because I know in a lot of universities, it's not really possible. It's not part of the curriculum. You don't have that, you don't get that freedom to explore a direction that you really want to pursue. So definitely a big shout out to them.
What would be your piece of advice for an architecture student who is passionate about AI and technology? If you were to start today, how would you learn? How would you become an expert in this area?
So definitely the time to start is today. And the way to learn is just explore and be curious. That's the main advice I'd give them, because it's developing so fast that even us who are working in the industry, working with it day to day, we're still trying to keep up with the technology, and every day we're trying to stay on top of it and immediately explore new things as they come out. And so it's absolutely not too late to join right now, because there's constantly new developments and we have to keep re-educating ourselves, keep reworking our workflows as well as new technologies come in. So as a student, if you're curious and if you want to explore it yourself, you could really just do it on your own. Don't necessarily, of course, you can start taking some courses on the side to deep dive into it, but you can as well just as well learn it on your own by experimenting with it, because that's the most important way to figure out and be innovative with it by experimenting and see what's possible rather than following someone else's path. Just try to find your own direction of using AI. So yeah, that's what I would say to students.
If you were to give an example, like how can they experiment, like tools, any like resources in particular, what would those be?
Yeah, well, definitely start with Midjourney. I think Midjourney has so much creative potential. We are still using it within the company as well, and it's accessible. It's quite easy to pick up. As I said, by experimenting, that's how I started as well myself a few years ago, just experimenting on my own with Midjourney and trying to see what's going to come out. So, and as you're doing these experiments, you're learning yourself. Of course, now there's a lot of resources available that you can consult in terms of the best, the parameters that you need, the best way to craft a prompt, etc. But it's all about experimenting with the tool yourself. So definitely Midjourney is a great starting point for anyone who wants to work with AI, and you can start today and be able to be creative very, very quickly.
Can you share the culture of Studio Team for?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great culture. We are a young team, which is at our benefit, in fact, because we're all very agile and we're able to adapt, which is really important skill now at the AI era that we're entering. We're all friendly. It's fun for sure to work around, really trying to build this team culture. And yeah, it's very healthy work environment as well. Definitely a good work-life balance that we have, which is really important in architecture. I know that it's not the case in a lot of places, and we value that. So yeah, it's been an absolutely great experience for me.
How does a day and a week in your life look like at the office?
Oh wow, so different from day to day. It could be quite different. So we have an office. We're based in nearby Bond Street in Marylebone area in London. So we would usually come to the office. Sometimes we have client meetings. Some days we've been to client meetings in London. Sometimes we've flown to other countries for client meetings. So we would either do that or have our day-to-day work with sort of design work, working with the team as I'm a project lead. So part of my responsibilities is to organize the team, make sure that we are completing all the tasks that we have in a timely manner, checking the work, giving out new tasks, and at the same time working on design as well. So yeah, it could be very varied week to week. Definitely doesn't look the same. And because we're working with AI, we have a lot of new projects coming in because we're able to finish them faster. So that's why it's even more exciting that we get to work on a lot of different projects rather than working on the same project for a long period of time, which keeps your excitement going.
Again, tell the insane amount of productivity boost. I'm actually curious to know, apart from using AI for visualization, when we think about what is a AI first or technology first architecture firm of the future, what's your vision about it? What is that firm doing differently than the traditional practice?
Yes. So other than visualization, of course, that's not the main part of our work. So our studio is divided in three main categories: the design studio and STF labs, which is our in-house research studio, and then the visualization. So it's these three main pillars that we're working on. And definitely the way that we're different in how we're structured is that our research and design studio work really closely together all the time, because working with AI, having an AI practice means that we really need to stay on top of the technology and everything that comes and really quickly adapt it into our workflows. And in bigger companies, usually they also have the research part, of course. That's how they grow and develop. But for us, it's really important that these two parts of our studio are working really closely on a day-to-day basis, because that's what's driving our design progress as well further. So that's definitely a different part of the studio. Yeah, and another sort of main difference is how quickly we are able to produce design outcomes. For example, for the Lake Bled project that I was the project lead, we did the whole sort of concept and schematic design within 3-4 months, which is, and could have been even shorter if there weren't some technicalities from the at the municipalities. But yeah, definitely we're able to go through these stages much faster. So that's another difference to a traditional practice, thanks to the technology.
Yeah. I also feel uh, the branding and the social media game of your companies stands out. You're open and transparent to sharing ideas, workflows, which is not quite common in the industry. I feel it's a secret sauce and it's the IP.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think, but first of all, our social media platforms are very important for us for also gaining more work, but also sharing our work with the world. And as you said, yes, it is important for us to stay quite open. Of course, we have our proprietary information and data and workflows that we're not able to share. But a lot of it we can share because we believe in this new era of open knowledge. And in the end of the day, when you're confident and comfortable to stand behind your designs and you're a leader in the industry, you know that people will still keep coming to you. And there is enough work in this world. But yeah, I think we stand behind our work because we produce good results and good designs. So the results speak for themselves. And that's what we believe in, rather than keeping some secrets.
I see. Can you walk us through one of the project you did and help us explain various workflows in that project?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can definitely share the Lake Bled project. So that was the first project that we officially released, and the project that I was the project lead for. And I can share actually a video with you that would go through through a lot of the visuals that we produced, and I can explain to you a little bit more about the workflow as I go. And if you have any further questions, of course, feel free to ask me as I go. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
So this is a project based in Lake Bled, Slovenia. So our brief was to create 5 luxury villas that were right next to a old historic villa by the lake. So we used different techniques in terms of designing. So here you can see we did data-driven optimization, internal floor plan optimization, different we were able, actually, this is quite interesting. I'll go over it again. So thanks to AI, we were, once we were almost at the final stages of the design, we were able to explore quite small variations of the facades, but they were really helpful for the clients in terms of tweaking some little things and making sure that the final outcome is the best that we can possibly provide. Um, so yeah, and then so we had to work on the design of the villas and the landscaping as well, and the way that it all interacted with the historic building on site. This is the another interesting point in terms of how um, uh, what design decisions we made that really elevated the design and were definitely very architectural decisions rather than AI driven decisions. For example, this element, which we call the gang, this really large arched attachment to the facade, is an element that is very present in local architecture. Actually, let me see if I have a slide here for that. No. Anyway, so that's an element that's very present in the local architecture. And we took that and we reinterpreted it in a more modern way. And doing that, because we had fixed roof angle that we had to work with, this was part of the regulations. By incorporating this element, we were actually able to elevate the space in the attic. So before that, there was quite undesirable space that you wouldn't really necessarily want to be at, especially it's a luxury villa that is rented out. So the people who would end up in the attic were quite unfortunate before. So by doing this gesture, we were able to open up the space and actually make it really attractive and like a unique design element out of it rather than an undesirable space before. So this again proves the point where we're really working together with AI as a creative partner, and we as architects are also responsible for a lot of the design decisions. So the ultimate goal that we have in the end is the best design that we can provide to the clients with whatever means and tools we have and we can. Um, so yeah, and this was, I think, quite successful project in that regards because it was on a historic site with historical regulations, and actually the municipality, the people from the municipality came to us, the historic board told us that this is one of the best projects they've seen in 10 years having worked there. And they gave us the stamp of approval on historic basis that they really like the design and they want to move forward with it. So that was a big milestone as well for AI design, AI architect design, because we were also able to show that even on historic sites, we were able to preserve what's important and create a design that speaks to the local people and is accepted by the local agency. So that was a big achievement as well.
There's so many questions I have. So you mentioned about various use cases of AI within the project. I would like to know, are there areas where you felt AI was not creative and human creativity had to figure out?
Yes, definitely in the plan arrangements. We were doing, yeah, I'll stop sharing that. So AI is very creative in the beginning stages of the design when we want to get a general.
So if I were to summarize, like conceptual design, AI has a lot of application for schematic. It was driven more with algorithmic optimization and with construction detailing. It's still like more human in the loop layer. And then visualization, again, AI comes back. Rather, since AI can create so many designs, and as architect, we are now more curator. How do you know when to stop?
So it's such an intuitive process. Definitely at the moment, we have trained our intuition to make quick decisions and know what we're looking for. And there's the sweet spot between directing the AI in the direction that you want in order to produce the results that you're looking for, and leaving some creativity for something unexpected. So I think that this sweet spot is really important, because that's where the really exciting collaboration between designer and AI comes into play. Because as a designer, you have something, some preconception in mind, you start working in a certain direction. However, sometimes you're surprised by the AI, and that's okay. And you can take a different direction. You can explore something more creative that's different to what you initially had in mind. You decide when to stop, when you feel like it, honestly. When you fall in love with the design, when you work and you see so many iterations and variations, as a designer, you just make a lot of quick decisions, and you take something, and your brain is constantly working. You look at the idea from the AI, you take it, you start sketching something else, then you bring it back, and then you develop it further. And it's just so like rapid process where your brain is really working. And then when you come to the final design, you just know it. You love it, or at least you see potential in it. You see an image, and you're like, okay, I love this direction. I think we can definitely work with this. And then once again, you take it for further improvements and iterations, etc. So yeah, you stop when you fall in love with your design.
I have never heard that before, but I like the analogy with AI. You start when you fall in love. I was wondering, have you had any aha or eureka moment when you were tinkering with AI?
Have I heard this in like, have I done it myself or?
Like, did you had any aha moment? Oh, you're so surprised by the output.
Yeah, for sure. On top of my head, I can't think of an example, but there's definitely been so many times. Like, for example, one of the cases was with Lake Bled, actually. So, of course, in the beginning, we were going through a lot of different iterations, trying to find what the clients are looking for. And where is this balance between something traditional and something luxury and future forward? It's such a difficult balance to create, because we want something that is true to the local area, but it's also something that you've never seen, but it's not too different, so that it's accepted from the heritage agency. And so in order to do that, we had to train our own database on local typology. So we inserted like a big database of local villas with different elements, different typologies, and we just started experimenting with that. And that's how we got the gang, in fact, which was the main design element that drove the rest of the design for the building. So that was like the core aha moment for the villas, because we took a local typology and we started iterating on it, trying to see how we can modernize it in a way that's respectful but beautiful. And yeah, and we just had so many iterations, different directions. When we saw the image of a building with that beautiful gang and the space it created and the whole environment, we're like, wow, this is beautiful. Like we like this thing. And the reaction from the clients was the same. As soon as they saw this direction, they were sold. This is the design. This is what we want. And that's when we started then working on it in more detail, of course. But it's this first vision and direction that you that's the aha moment of a project. Like, yes, this is the direction that we want to take, and we will solve everything else afterwards.
That's so good to hear that. Okay, if you were to teach a course at the uni, what would you teach and what would be the course modules?
Interesting question. So, of course, it will be related to architecture and AI, of course. Another discussion that I recently had actually in university, as I was invited as a speaker there, was the fact that we also need to integrate entrepreneurship in our courses as well in architecture, because this is such a almost not taboo, but a topic that's not really discussed or talked about in architecture university at all. and the industry is so distant from real life, and nowadays where the industry is changing so rapidly, the gap gets even bigger. So I think it's so important in university to have a course that teaches you how to be adaptable, how to think for yourself, how to be critical, how to work with AI, but also how to, of course, teaching you all the history in architecture and giving you that overall rounded perspective. Because I don't believe that the courses that ban the use of AI are helpful. I don't think that a course that's only focused on how to use AI is also helpful as well, because then you don't have a rounded opinion and you're not a rounded individual. So it's very important to strike that balance, and having also entrepreneurial courses in university is important, because era that we're moving towards, we need to be adaptable, and we need to think in new ways, and we need to be very innovative with what we're doing. So the current systems and the current sort of structures that have been built, not in terms of architectural structures, but governmental structures, are not as relevant or will be changing, or at least we need to find ways to change them and improve them. Having that entrepreneurial mindset is really important in order to be able to think about where there's a problem, how do I provide the market with the solution to that problem. And thinking in this way with architecture is really important, because I feel like the industry has been stuck in such old ways of operating that really need to be reformed.
I'm just waiting when you enroll and start that course. Uh, I have
I
the
have more learning to do.
yes. I have last section of the interview, which is rapid fire, and you'll have like 5 to 10 seconds to answer it, and the answer needs to be super short. So the first question is, which city is in your travel bucket list?
Japan, Tokyo.
3 words your friend would describe you as.
Ambitious, kind, happy.
Any book which made a big impact in your life?
The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown.
What's your favorite restaurant?
A recent favorite is like a local restaurant, Flowered Grape, but that's not my all-time favorite. I love going to restaurants. I have so many. I can't tell you which is my favorite, actually.
Okay. Favorite in London?
In London is the first thing that comes to mind, because that's where I've been going. But I have some really, really beautiful restaurants that I've been to. It would be a restaurant with a view of sea. That would be my favorite. But I can't, on the top of my head, tell you which one.
Favorite movie?
Scent of a Woman.
Do you listen to podcast? And if yes, what's your favorite one?
Yes, I do. The one that I listen to the most is the FT News briefing, because I listen to that every morning. My favorite, I think, again, like a one that I've listened to the most recently is The Story by BBC. But an all-time favorite podcast, again, it's a tricky question. I can't tell you.
Yeah, it changes frequently.
Yeah, exactly. It changes on your mood, on what you're interested in, what you want to learn about. So definitely varies a lot.
Anything you wished you would have done differently?
I believe that you should always make a decision, stick with that decision, and move forward if you're not happy with that decision. I don't think I have any regrets for anything, really. I stand behind the decisions I've made, and if I don't like where I am, I will make a new decision and move. So that
That's a great motivational quote. Thanks a lot, Rada, for your time to do this. I had a great time interviewing you.